Hey Maddie, hi Callum.
Oh yeah,
Thanks for joining today to have a little chat about your journey with independently infusing your enzyme replacement therapy.
it's a
How are you
pleasure.
doing?
Yeah,
Good,
we're
thank you. Not
doing all
too
right.
bad.
Yeah, making the most of last bit of summery weather, I think,
Yeah.
before.
Good, good. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Callum, in a bit, but I thought it might be good to start with Maddie because um, Maddie's had many, many years of having her infusions with different home care companies, and it would be great to hear just a short bit about your journey of the different levels of dependency you've been through over the years.
Yes. Thank you, Niamh. So since I was diagnosed in 1996, I've gone through all different, stages of being dependent, independent, and then now Callum giving me my infusion. But originally, my mum gave me my infusion. So when I was discharged from hospital at Great Ormond Street, the team there had to make sure that my mum could cannulate me before sending me home. I was fitted with a portacath at that point. So I've actually had 3 portacaths, I think, over the period of my life. And yes, so my mum gave me my treatment through a portacath until I was about 14, I think, and then I took over my infusion when my portacath got blocked. I got an infection in my portacath, and it had already been replaced, I think, twice at that point, 3 times. I then took over doing my infusion, and a nurse came and taught me how to do it. And I did that for a number of years until I got to university. And then because I developed a tremor in my right hand, an intention tremor, it just wasn't possible anymore, which was really upsetting actually, because as we'll probably hear from Callum, I think being independent gives you it gives you the opportunity to be flexible about when you have it, and that's really important. So then I had a nurse come to university, and then I had a nurse up until last year when Callum took over my infusions. So yeah, that's a bit about my journey.
Okay, great. So you've had a mixture of nurses doing it,
Yeah.
mum doing it, doing some bits yourself. So you've been independent, semi-independent, nurse dependent. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
So Callum, what made you want to learn or get involved in giving Maddie her treatments?
Well, I think it was when I started going out with Maddie. She was very open about a condition to me, and I got to see firsthand how her treatment worked. How she'd have a nurse come in, she'd administer the treatment, but it was on the one hand it was very it did sort of infringe on Maddie's freedom a bit. We didn't know all the time when the treatment was going to arrive, what time of the day that would be. Had to be in the house for that period as well. It was all a little bit. I think the idea was that if I were to take over, then we would be able to decide when we do the treatment ourselves. It would free us up. We wouldn't have to deal with the stress of, oh, what if it doesn't come this week and we have to wait another week for it. And then on another note, I really wanted to prove to my own. So I wanted to prove to Maddie that I would be able to do that for her, show my love for her, and that I could trust she could trust me with her life. So I think those are the 2 main sort of points really for why I wanted to treat myself.
Yeah.
Great. And can you talk to us a little bit about what training was involved or what process you went through in the learning how to do it?
Yes, so I spoke to Maddie's nurse, who lovely lady. She told her of what I wanted to do, and she said we needed to do 3 sessions where I would learn the process before it would be safe for me to cannulate for her. First of those weeks was merely me sitting and very closely observing how the process works. She talked through the process. I got to see how all that cannulation worked. Second time, it was a bit of a duo. She did a bit, I did a bit. She helped me perform my bits. And then for the third time, I was to do it all myself, and she was observing how I did. Luckily, I think I got good marks for it, and so she determined that from then on I could be authorised to perform the cannulation myself. And since then, it's been great. I don't think I've had many mishaps with it. I think it goes quite well.
Okay, brilliant. Well done. And for you both, how does it impact on you emotionally? You doing it or being able to do it? Do you feel pressure? And for you as well, Maddie, after we hear from Callum, how emotionally does it make you feel that Callum has taken this on and is able to help out in this way?
Well, to go back to your point on pressure, I certainly felt under pressure the first few times. I thought, well, I think I was told, well, if you get this wrong, Callum, this is really going to hurt. So it did leave a little bit of, you're nervous at first for it, but as long as it's not, once you've got the hang of it, it's not particularly difficult to do. I didn't, after a few weeks, we've not had any issues really. There is a little bit of the old, there's a little bit of stress involved. If I get it wrong, I might get shouted at or something. So, but that's all part of it, really. But I think another thing that not necessarily we have to face, but a lot of people will have to face, is that you are injecting a needle into somebody you love, and you are going to be causing a little bit of harm for them. And I think for some people there is quite a bit of a reluctance to do something like that, even if it's for a good cause. But I think once you realise what you're doing to them, you're saving their life pretty much by infusing them. It's that whole fear, I think, of causing harm melts away a little bit, and it's not. If it's something that you're worried about, I wouldn't be too concerned about it after the first few weeks. It's just those first hurdles to get over.
Yes.
Great. And you, Maddie, how did it make you feel that Callum A, wanted to do it, and B, is doing it for you? How's that been?
Yeah, so obviously I'm really proud of Callum and the fact that he felt strong enough that he was able to do it, because as he said, it's not an easy thing to do, to inflict pain on someone you love. But as Callum says, it's for a good cause, and I think you have to push through that feeling. For me, apart from being very proud of him, it's giving us a lot of independence, and that's a really good thing, and that makes me feel a lot more calm when I'm having it. And also I think to some extent that Callum now knows how I like to have my treatment, the way I like to have it, and I don't need to keep explaining to Callum, the different ways I like things done. Like I haven't got a very high pain threshold. Well, I probably have got a higher one than I think I have, but I think, I like, for instance, when he's like cleaning the injection site, I like to let it dry for like quite a long time beforehand. And, when you have a nurse, small things like that, it is difficult to keep explaining that if you're having a different nurse each time, like, the specifics about how you like things done. And I think it can be stressful when it goes wrong. For me, obviously it's painful, but on a personal level, it's something that has to be done, and therefore I have to push through that pain, take the needle out, calm down for 10 or 20 minutes or however long, and then let Callum try and inject again, just because also, you know, for Callum's confidence, I need to be able to basically, you know, just
Almost
be brave enough and
yeah.
just let him get on with it, because I have to remember sometimes not to make such a big deal about it.
Yeah,
if it goes wrong.
If that stresses me out, that's going to make it harder for me to get it right the
exactly.
second time. So.
Although I do try not to shout.
I think that's only happened once, to be fair.
Yes.
And you know, you've always got a nice mug of coffee and a rich tea biscuit after the needle's in. So that's
yes.
something that the nurses won't necessarily.
No, that's true. Well. That's true. So yes, I think from my point of view, that's how I find it. And you know, I think I even had this with Mum though. It's nothing to do with Callum. I think that, you know, it goes against your instincts, and I think it does put pressure on your relationship, you know.
But whilst there is that, you know, I want to stress that, you know, there is a bit of pressure, but it honestly does bring you a lot closer together. For those little nigglings on pressure, it's really something we couldn't recommend more. You know, it does really help bring your relationship together and bond you more. So those little small hurdles it's worth it for the result you get.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, guys. You're an inspiration, and thanks for doing this, because I know there's a lot of people out there who are quite nervous about it, and it's nice to hear your story and see how it works, and you know that, and you're very honest in that there is pressure, but the benefits outweigh the negatives, if you like. So that's great. So thank you for sharing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Niamh.
I hope other people enjoy your story.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.